And we're back. Beard, hair, don't care, cause this is a hype chapter. What's up, it's Truth Hero, and welcome back to another My Hero Academia chapter review. So Boku no Hero Academia chapter 275 of the manga. We'll discuss everything from Deku and Bakugo's teamwork to their very short-lived battle with Shigaraki, Shigaraki's new fondness of one for all, and of course, the appearance of Papa Aizawa and how Eraserhead could actually turn the tide in this battle for the heroes. Let's dive in. Very cool that this chapter opens with Shigaraki commenting on the search ability All For One got from Ragdoll. It's very powerful as he can now see Deku's weak points since Ragdoll once knew Deku and saw him. Now, I'm a bit uncertain on how the mechanics work here. I don't know if Shigaraki could have just used the search quirk on Deku and found his weak points because he's seen Deku before, but then again, he's never seen or known Deku while possessing the search quirk. Regardless, the information is already stored within Ragdoll's memory, and when the quirk is transferred or taken, it still resides in the quirk, and that's another conversation on how information moves with quirks. That's for another day. But now Shigaraki knows Deku's weak points, and he's on his way to hit Midoriya where it hurts, and take one for all. We then have this conversation between Deku and Bakugo. Hey, I'm glad they're working together, but Bakugo's like, look, you're gonna need me, you're gonna need my help, you can't do this alone. And of course Bakugo has ulterior motives. He doesn't actually really care about helping Deku, he just wants to keep pace and even surpass him, as always. Also, Bakugo says, what's with this tagging along stuff? You think you're the protagonist here? Damn, Bakugo's a straight savage. Kind of makes sense though. I think a lot of people take Bakugo more as a main character in My Hero Academia than Deku. He's certainly a good friend and rival. And of course, Bakugo is in this not just for Deku, but because he feels he is responsible for causing the end of All Might when the villains captured him. He wants to put Shigaraki in his place, and apparently he has the perfect plan. Plan or not, there's no way Deku and Bakugo can take on a monster like Shigaraki. Shigaraki uses a very interesting combination of quirks here with air cannon and radio waves to create a widespread disturbance that knocks out the hero's communications. And this is, while cool, at the very least it proves that he can combine quirks together and use them simultaneously. I can only imagine what other combinations he's capable of. I've been saying it for a long time, but it wouldn't surprise me if Shigaraki could not only decay, but also use All For One at the same time, meaning he can take the quirks of people that are disintegrating. Deku then sees Death's image, which I think is a reference to when Deku and his classmates first saw All For One and were paralyzed by fear and visions of their own demise. I don't think Deku and Bakugo were actually decaying here. I think Gran Torino just pulled them out right as Shigaraki would attempt to lay a finger on them so that they're okay. If they did start to decay and Gran Torino using his speed actually pulled them out of the decay wave and that's why their bodies reverted to normal, that would be something crazy. Gran Torino makes it quite clear that Deku and Bakugo are way out of their league and that they have no hope or chance of defeating Shigaraki. He also lets them know how dangerous Shigaraki's decay is. If even a piece of debris from something that's decaying touches you, you start to go as well. I think this is really the first time that we understand from the student's perspective just what they're up against. Deku and Bakugo were pretty enthusiastic and gung-ho about taking on Shigaraki, Bakugo especially because he wants to make up for what happened to All Might, and they clearly underestimated his abilities. It's very fortunate that Gran Torino was there to bail him out. Obviously I didn't think Deku or Bakugo would die here, but they really need to be careful about Shigaraki. We don't know all of his quirks, we don't know how they can combine like we saw here, and it's kind of frightening to know that Shigaraki was asleep no less than 10 minutes ago, and he's already fighting and hanging in there with the #1 hero, and so hellbent on taking one for all from Deku. Gran Torino tells them, look, there are plenty of pro heroes right here that can handle Shigaraki, and then we see Dragon Lady Ryuku swoop in and give Shigaraki a huge clawed hook, which he then promptly catches, and she begins to disintegrate. Well, Ryuko would have been a pile of scales right now had it not been for our favorite teacher peering through the dust. Aizawa neutralizes Shigaraki's quirks, and Ryuku sends him flying. We've been saying it for a while now. Anything short of a nuke, the only way to beat Shigaraki is to have all the heroes participate. And how does one do that? By having Aizawa constantly staring him down, neutralizing his abilities. I'm so excited. Can the heroes actually still win the day? Aizawa thinks about his dear students Deku and Bakugo, then thinks about the pro-hero Crust who made the sacrifice so he could escape with Ryuku, and finally Shirakumo, his best friend growing up, who was turned into a villain by All for One. Now, if you thought Deku and Bakugo had chips on their shoulders, had some beef, had a score to settle with Shigaraki, move on over. If anyone has a right to be mad, it's Aizawa-sensei. I will avenge you, Shirakumo. And Shigaraki, don't you mess with my students. Aizawa be like,
look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Shigaraki realizes he's in the presence of greatness and says, wow, Eraserhead, how cool of you. It seems like every time Shigaraki is trying to decay someone important, Aizawa is always there to make sure he does nothing. This is also a great flashback in reference to the first season where Shigaraki reaches for Tsuyu's head, and Aizawa is there to lift up his head from the Nomu and stop him from decaying her. This chapter didn't really have too much importance in terms of dialogue. It was really just to set up phase 2 of the heroes vs villains and introducing Aizawa as sort of a game changer, and that's what I'd like to talk about here. But first, a couple of things. 1, love the picture of Aizawa and this cat. Perfect. Even with Daddy Aizawa helping, we still need heroes with combat abilities, and we just saw Endeavor take on Shigaraki, to which he just recovered from the fire, broke up their communications, and really hung in there with Endeavor the entire time. Now, of course, Shigaraki vs multiple pro heroes with Endeavor is a different story, but the question still remains: what pro heroes and what abilities will allow them to kill, injure, or capture Shigaraki alive, and in a manner that keeps him from destroying it all? Comment down below. I'll wait. Here's my personal plan for capturing Shigaraki. Step 1. Aizawa and a mobile hero. Aizawa looks at Shigaraki the entire time, blinking on occasion at the right times to avoid letting Shigaraki use a quirk. I hope Aizawa packs some eye drops, because this is going to be one hell of a staring contest. A hero with mobility, preferably aerial, and that has a way to clear dust like Ryuku with her dragon wings, which we'll talk about in a bit, will be in charge of safeguarding Aizawa and making sure that he always has a line of sight towards Shigaraki. Step 2. Once Shigaraki is being held quirkless by Aizawa, a bunch of pro heroes with raw strength unleash on him, even from close distances, while still maintaining levels of visibility for Aizawa. An ideal candidate would be, say, Endeavor, who can get up close and personal, use his flames like he did when he carbonized the Nomu, and then that still maintains Aizawa's visual. By this point, Shigaraki will be in a lot of pain and won't be able to use his regeneration quirk, allowing a group of pro heroes to move on to the most gruesome step. Step 3. I'm not sure who or what quirk, but while Aizawa is still watching Shigaraki with watery eyes, some pro hero will have to swoop in and take Shigaraki's life, or his hands, and preferably his life, because at this point we still don't know Shigaraki's abilities. He could have one that later, maybe when he's in prison, allows him to regenerate his hands, and then they have to do this all over again. I truly believe that taking Shigaraki's life, or unless you found a way to take all his quirks away from him, which I doubt it, is the only way forward. Comment down below, what would your plan be for defeating Shigaraki, or if you got guts, capturing him? Even with Aizawa joining the pro heroes, there are still 2 factors to consider. One is the dust. If Shigaraki uses air cannon or somehow kicks up dust again, then any pro hero engaging with him behind that curtain of particulates is going to be in trouble since Aizawa can't see Shigaraki and help them out. Number 2, it's kind of a big one, Gigantomachia and the other villains. The heroes might have the advantage right now in numbers, but once Gigantomachia and other villains from the League and the Paranormal Liberation Front show up, how are you going to defend Aizawa while still maintaining a line of sight for him when they're all defending Shigaraki and attacking you? It's just not possible. I don't think they'll defeat him, but if the heroes are destined to capture Shigaraki in this arc, I hope Aizawa and the rest of them can do it quickly, and I really hope that no one, especially Aizawa, bites the dust. I think no matter what happens here, it's a good result for the story. If Shigaraki beats the heroes, then they have to go into hiding and regroup, and then Deku and Bakugo will level up and they'll eventually face them in the end. On the flip side, if they actually do capture Shigaraki before, say, Gigantomachia can arrive or the League of Villains can help him out, then Shigaraki would be taken to prison, and All Might would actually be in Tartarus talking to Stain, so perhaps that's where Shigaraki kills All Might, and we have a nice prison break arc, which a lot of people want. As always, thanks for watching, and thanks for the support lately. I really appreciate it. I want to hear what you guys have to say, though. Comment down below your battle plan and strategy. If you're Aizawa and the Pro Heroes, how do you defeat or capture Shigaraki? I want to see these step-by-step plans. It could be interesting. If you guys like My Hero Academia content and these chapter reviews, consider enrolling at UA today by subscribing, because we definitely need more heroes. And until next time, plus ultra.